What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. Unfortunately, I lost yesterday. I had the Liberty plus 4.5, and it was a disaster from start to finish. I forget what it even closed at, but that good old CLV, where to throw that at the end of the night. So, got to get back on track here today. Good to be back with you, though, Vino. I would think you had a winner because you like the fever. We both mentioned an over. How'd you do yesterday?
Yeah, that was the game I won, Skee. I did have the fever minus 2.5. Just thought, New York proved everything we've been saying about them for the last 2 weeks defensively one more time, right? If you're fast, you can pretty much have your way against those that team. But I did get involved with the Sparks, who let
Mm.
me down. Think it was like a 14-4 run at the end of the game to blow that one. Actually, lose by 7. I don't think they were ever behind by 7 the entire game. But that one did not get there. And the other total that I liked last night that I talked about here on the show was the Washington Las Vegas game. And when Becky's team wants to D up, they D up. It's just hard to tell when they want to do it. Last night they wanted to do it. So 86-76, we'll see a rematch of that game tomorrow. Maybe we'll be able to come back and get it right the second time around. But the night for me was 1-2 with the Fever being a lone winner.
All right, let's see what we got today, Vino. We got a couple games. We will start it off with the Tempo and the Wings. Opened up minus 9.5. Still sitting right there for Dallas. Total opened at 183. We'll say 183.5. For the Tempo, Alaman's game time decision. Conde's game time decision. Still no Sykes. For Dallas, Alicia Clark is game time. AZ is game time. There will be no Shepard out there or Verona. Um, Man, Alaman, she wasn't doing any good. I don't think that last game anyway. She was stinking it up. She'd probably be better off if she sat. But this Dallas team, I just don't view them as a double-digit favorite kind of team. They haven't played good whenever AZ has not been in the lineup. Now, missing Jessica Shepard as well. I just don't like it for the Wings. Tempo have been moneymakers as road dogs. I think they're something like 13-2 ATS. So it would be Tempo plus or good old, they're not playing any defense. They're just scoring enough to not let it get out of hand. So Tempo or over would be ways that I'm looking at this game. What say you, Rob Veno?
Yeah, well, I will say that I probably agree with you on Julie Alaman. Now, it's nice to have point guard depth, but I think Kiki Rice in the starting lineup might make them even faster, might make them even better offensively. They're already good offensively, but her and Mabry in the backcourt, obviously they drafted Kiki Rice where they did for a reason, and she looks to be the future at that position. And Maria Conde, I don't know. There's some nights threes go in, some nights they don't go in. But to me, the two players that Toronto could be missing tonight are interchangeable parts. I don't think you suffer that much losing those two, considering the replacements that'll go in for them. The big, absence is Jessica Shepard. She's all everything for that team this year. You could put Enrique and AZ's, or even Enrique and Odyssey Sims, you could put their assist totals together and come up with what Jessica Shepard has in assists at her. So she's playmaking, she's scoring, she's by far and away the best rebounder. It hurts Dallas, I think, offensively if AZ can't go. If she does go, even better. But it looks like a pace type game, Skee, because Dallas is going to be small and they've got plenty of guards that can get up and down. As you mentioned, Toronto doesn't stop anybody. Dallas probably has limited rim protection here in this game. Toronto should score. They scored big the other night against Atlanta. And I'll add that just really quick to close out here is that kind of lumped Dallas and Atlanta together last week as teams that, they're going to make the playoffs, but these teams aren't real contenders. And you had said yesterday, Atlanta is I think I looked it up, and they are the worst point spread team in the league. And they didn't help themselves out the other night. They
That
lost
was just
again as a
off
favorite.
top of my head. I just thought that.
Yeah, and Minnesota's second worst, their worst.
Hmm.
So Dallas fits right in there. It's hard to trust them. I think if I was going to play this game, if I played anything, I would still look over because I think it's going to be a game full of pace, and maybe you do get easy here.
Yeah, I'm in agreement on over. I think that's the way to play, if anything. All right, next we have the Lynx and the Fire to talk about. Opened up 13 and a half. Been all over the place. We'll say 13 right now. Total open 183 and a half. We're looking at one as high as 186. 186 out there. For Minnesota, it says Bibby's game time decision here. For Portland, Carla Light, game time, Okonkwo out, Oblak, game time decision. For one, Carla would be a big miss if they don't have her at the point guard. Um, Vino, my first thought in this was Minnesota's been shooting lights out recently. At some point, they're going to regress. But this Portland defense has been so ass, and they play so fast. I don't know that I could bet on that tonight. So the market seems to agree, pushing this total up. What do you think?
I think if I'm going to stay in tune with what you said, I think their ball handling is ass without Carla too, because I think they lead the league in turnovers as it is, and she's a really good point guard. So if she's not out there, I really don't trust them to even handle the ball against Minnesota. I think what you worry about most is Minnesota just clinched the playoff spot, still going after the number one seed though, so there's still some motivation there if they were to take this lightly, and they haven't. We just said it. I think they're the second worst point spread team in the league, and that's with a few covers as of late. But in this price range, I'm going back to last week. I think you had a number where Minnesota at 7.5 or more was not really good. And that's the role they're in here.
5 and 10, I believe.
5 and 10. Okay. So from a matchup standpoint, though, it's hard to make a case for the Fire, right? I mean, yeah, Bridget Carleton gets to play against Minnesota. Okay, maybe she has a game, but the rest of that team, I don't know. I go back to the quote, and this is not your OG show, so I won't swear, but the quote from Cheryl Reeve. Oh, you want to talk about our offense?
I loved it.
Because we don't play any blanking defense. And that's the part that scares me, is that maybe Minnesota just, we can roll the balls out and we can score 100. I've said that before. They can score 100. And, if you get 89, who cares? We win, but we don't cover. So it's a tough game to play, I think. But it's real. I can't make enough reason to back the Portland side other than if Minnesota just fails defensively and doesn't take the game seriously. Because if Carla doesn't play, that's troublesome for Portland.
Yeah. Extended quote on that one. She was like, you want to talk about offense? You sound just like the players.
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah, I remember that. That was a good one. Yeah. And I love those interviews. She was ripping them that day. She said every player at every position was terrible.
Right.
That interview stuck in my mind, so I definitely remember that, Vino. Yeah, hard to think of a matchup way that you get Portland in this one, but very easy. After McBride just sets history, they just make the playoffs. Could very well just overlook them in a role that they haven't been profitable in all year long anyway. All right. Yeah, if they don't win this game, you'll get another nice interview tonight. Sky and Valkyries, 9.5 opener, 8.5 mostly now. Total up from 165 to 166.5. Still no Skylar Diggins. Sydney Taylor also out for Golden State. Kia Stokes and Salon game time decision as well. I mean, Salon is always a big player for this Golden State team. Kia Stokes would be a big player for this Golden State team tonight. I mean, this guy, when you're missing Sydney Taylor, that is missing a bunch. But you do still have some bigs down there, and Golden State doesn't have any. And it could really be without a lot tonight. So the only way I could think to play this one is Chicago. The only thing I'll say is Golden State has been so good when they have extra time to prepare for teams. But just this is one of those matchup wise. I just bet a prop like Cardosa over points and rebounds or points or something like that. But she's too big to not be able to dominate in this game. What do you think, Vino?
Well, I mean, the injury situation in these three games, there's one huge one in every game, right? And to your point, Janelle Salon, I don't have a lot of favorite. We bet games. We don't really root for players in our industry, but every time I watch Janelle Salon, I want to. If she's not the best sixth player in the league, then she's in the top three. She just brings so much. She's always a top the box scorer in field goal attempts. She's generally one of their two best 3-point shooters every game. She does an awful lot. And what happened in Chicago the other night, the reason why I bring it up, Skee, is because she plays the stretch four kind of. And Seattle did a smart thing the other night. They put Ezzy at center and let Malonga play like a stretch four. And Chicago got torched by Malonga. 26 points, but they were inside, outside. She's nailing threes, etc. Salon probably could have done that tonight, but without her replacement, I mean, the one who should probably get the most minutes would be me here, and she's 6'4", just known for defensive rim protection. She's not really going to score. So I don't know. I look at this game from two angles here. I like Chicago plus 8.5. Not really mad at anybody who likes the sky here plus 8.5 because you take Salon out of that lineup, and we all know that Golden State, they love to hoist threes, but they don't always make those threes. Gabby Williams just as easily 3 for 12 as 4 for 8. So and Veronica Burton, great point guard, but not necessarily consistent every single night. Scoring wise, Golden State can be challenged offensively a little bit, and I think that Chicago, for what it's worth, their defenders are really out on the perimeter, right? Cloud and Carrington and J.C. Sheldon, they get a chance to lock up a couple of these Golden State players. So I think Chicago plus 8.5 looks pretty good to me, but I like even more the under 166.5. I think the team that wins this game, especially Salon doesn't play, the team that wins this game probably gets to 81. And Chicago loves that tempo, Skee, but boy, Golden State slows teams down like nobody's business. They just milk shot clock, and if you're used to getting 70 shots a game, you're probably going to get 59 against this team. They just don't let it happen. So to me, I think the dog and the under correlate here. You could take your choice out of those two or both if you choose.
Well, I know we've talked about this before, and I'm just gonna go back and look it up really quick, but maybe on that total, you chop it in half. I mean, we've talked about it with the Valkyries, right? Valkyries first half, 22, 9 and 1 to the under. 16 and 6. I mean 16 and 16 to the full game over. So those second halves become much higher scoring. The Sky, same thing. 20 and 12, 20, 12 and 1 to the first half under. 21 and 12 to the full game over. Second half scoring team for whatever reason. So Vino, would you consider chopping it in half? Joey Betts just asking about this one. First half under Chicago and Golden State.
There's no way you can ignore those numbers, Skee. So I
Yeah.
would not say no. I mean, those numbers are strong, and I'm just going through here only because I keep these totals. Chicago recently, I mean, and their unders are high, Skee. Their first half unders, just to let you know, the last 4 games, they're 1-3 to the under in the first half. And yet those games have scored 95, 86, 102, and 80. The 80 is low. But their second halves are off the charts, right? And I could go back a long ways, 101, 93, 101, 95, 93. So to your point, Chicago definitely revs it up second half. Golden State, we've seen the same out of. Like I say, there's no argument against that, against chopping it in half and playing first half under. What is that number? Probably got to be 82 or at
First
least.
half right now, I'm seeing some 81s out there.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's the way you like to play it, the numbers certainly back that up. Maybe a third way to play this one.
Yeah, some different ways to get involved here. Think if I bet the under, maybe I roll with those first half numbers. If I want some kind of an over, maybe I just go roll with Cardosa. Um, and other than that, I think I have to look towards the sky. I'm playing this one. All right. That is the 3 games for today. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Let's see what we can throw on the screen there. We have the usual. Do I have it? I think I might have. There we go. Yeah. Skee and Veno, 2 for 1, 3-day all access, only $69. You can rock with both of us if you would like. If you're one of those guys, says it was a guy in here last week, Veno said, I don't know about Skee. He wasn't really liking Skee. He didn't like Skee quite a bit. You could just go roll with Veno, okay? Buy 3, get 3 free, 6 days for $69. Veno will point you in the right direction. All right. Anything else you would like to add there, Veno? And if you have a best bet for the show, it's people dying to hear it.
I had a couple of things before I get into it. Really quick on that guy, he didn't like 10 and 10 plus a couple of units. He certainly didn't like plus 100 units. Can't please everybody. For what it's worth, the Minnesota number has come down as we've been talking here to 12.5, which could indicate maybe Carla Light. I'm not sure. I just checked the injury report. She's still on it. But this game has pushed down to 12.5 in almost every venue at this point in time. So something to look into, because certainly her presence changes, the outlook on that game as far as Portland covering. I will leave a best bet today. So if you have over a half a best bet, you're going to win. You'll win. I'm going to roll with the Sky Skee, plus 8.5 in that game. I just think, there's a lot of variables with Golden State. One, we know they play great defense, but two, the shooting, it's going to be threes, and sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. And without Janelle Salon, I just think it leaves them one less weapon to make those threes. Chicago's still playing tough. They ran into a difficult matchup the other night because of Seattle's size, but man, they came back. They closed it to within 2 late in that game. So I'm going to stick with that tonight. Best bet for the show will be Chicago Sky plus 8.5.
All right, good stuff from Veno. I don't have any bets that I felt confident enough to make today. I do like some things, but I want to be able to love it before I place that bet. So I'm gonna still think about it, see if I can find anything throughout the rest of the day, and also look into tomorrow. So just rock with Veno for today. Appreciate you taking the time to cap these games with me, Veno. Chat, we appreciate you as well. It looks like tomorrow we have 3 more games to talk about. So we will catch you all then.